please. Hi everyone. I am going live today. It's April 20th. If anybody's watching, please say hello and connect. I know it takes a minute to get this going. Let me just type in hello everyone. And sounds like a couple of people are on already, so that's nice. I have some interesting stuff to share today with just trying to make it educational. Vega's here from the UK. Hi, Vega. I worked on my audio, try to get a little better. I know we had some problems last week. Let me just see. Good, so Vega's here. And who else? A couple of people should say hello. Hi, Matt. Siobhan is here. I know Siobhan. Siobhan is very dear to me. Let's see. So there's Vega. There's Jill from Malaysia. I just am so moved that you would sign in from Malaysia. Oh, look. I think there's a way. I have to go research this. Johannes Huber from Germany. Matt Carter. Matt, where are you from? Megan Schulte de Boyer. Hello, Megan. And where are you from, Megan? Johannes is from Germany. What part of Germany? Max. Hi, Max. Look, I can put his up there. Hey, Max. Hi from Brazil. Liz, my hip hurts so bad. Oh, Liz, maybe I could help you. I just put my hands, fix you right up. Russell from Germany. Where in Germany? Tell me some cities. I'd like to hear that. Now listen, I need people's help here. I want everyone to take a landscape video of about 30 seconds. I have a bunch on, you'll see. I'll putting them on as the backdrop. But it'd be really great to have one from Germany, from Brazil. Tonight I have a few from the UK. I have one from Vietnam. And I have a bunch from Manhattan. So Siobhan, yeah, I don't have anything from Malaysia, Siobhan. Black Forest, I don't know that. Let me write that down. I'm gonna take some notes here because I have to look up. Is that Black Forest? Is that a area, or what city would that be near? Black Forest. And Roger Federer, I didn't know, a famous tennis player is on with us. Russell Block, Koblenz. I don't know Koblenz. Let me write that down. I'll look all this stuff up because I love to learn. And we're just saying hello for a minute and we're going to start. But what I want everybody to know is I spent a little time putting together some interesting educational stuff as well. I also have a sneak peek of a 12-minute compilation that my friend Jake from Chiro Core, he compiles like you know, those videos that are non-stop cracking, but he takes some of my videos every once in a while when I have enough of them. I think it takes about 20 patients to make a 10-minute compilation, and he just sent me one this afternoon. I'll be posting it in a couple of days, but I have a 60-second sneak peek I'll put on and we can watch that. Hopefully you won't hear an echo when I do that. Okay, so Johannes says near Karlsruhe. I'm going to write that down too. Karlsruhe, and that's Johannes Uber, okay? Uber. I know I'm saying your name wrong. You're probably laughing at me. This American doesn't have a good accent pronunciation, so I apologize. Henrik from Denmark. And Show Me the Lights from Great Britain. What's up, Doc? I changed my name. Let me see who else I might have missed. Megan is from the Chicago area. Thank you for signing in. Got a bunch of people on already. And okay, let me go to the next slide. So I basically have this software called Ecamm, and it allows me to create slides. So this is, there's no guessing because I put it up there, but this is Eastbourne, UK. It's a beautiful, looks cold. I don't know if I'd want to jump in that water today. It is the winter. And like I said, I have some educational slides. So what I'll do is I'll put up some slides to share some info. Then I'll take a break and say hello and answer some questions. And I'll show a few more slides. And I have, you know, that way I'll keep it moving. Interesting backdrops, I hope. This is also East Sussex. So Vega sent me this last week. Oh, and so I wanted to share some fun stats. You know, I started my YouTube channel on April 17th, which was 1 year and 3 days ago. And I know a lot of you watch other chiropractic YouTube channels, and some of them have took off really fast, like Dr. Cipriano, Joseph Cipriano with the Y strap. That guy, he's at 1.3 million subscribers, and I think he got there in 2 years. So he's phenomenally fast in building his channel. I wasn't that fast. Can't say for lack of trying, because I did 326 videos last year. But this is kind of cool. So I just did this morning, and the numbers are even a little higher. But I'm about to hit 20,000 subscribers, and I'm proud of that. I think that's good. Just in the last 28 days, 6,000 people subscribed, so it seems like it's really taking off. But here's a number that's really interesting to me, was I just went over the million views mark for 1 month. That's just 1 month. So total, I've done a little over 3 million views on this channel. Or I should say we have, because we've been doing this together. And just in the last 28 days, 1 million views. So I think that's cool. Max is from New York City. What part of New York City, Max? I'm here today in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, but my office is right in the Midtown area. Let's see, let me scroll down and catch up. Brandon Ortiz from the Bronx. Alan, I'm not in Manhattan tonight, Alan. I'm in Brooklyn, where I live. My office is closed right now. It's sad. I'm trying to figure out what to do with my lease. You know, it's a stressful time. I applied for one of those business bailout loans. I did not get it. I was, I don't remember what day it was, but it was like 5 p.m. 10 days ago. And I just got at 5 p.m. you could log in and do it. And I had my tax forms and my payroll forms and everything ready to go. And boom, the site crashed. And I got on again, I got my name, address, social security number, boom, it crashed. So in 2.5 hours, I finally got my application in, and then they just made an announcement that that fund is exhausted, and that would have helped me pay my rent, pay my payroll, a lot of stuff like that. So didn't happen, but I did get a email from my bank that said I'm still in the queue, and if Congress replenishes that fund, I'll be able to maybe get some disbursement of that. I don't know. Yeah, Alan says that sucks, man. That does suck. It does. Because, you know, I've been in practice for 22 years. I don't want to lose my practice. So we're going to hang in there and see what happens. Let's see. All right, let me go to the next slide. A couple of little things before I share information. I just want people to know. So I guess you guys would know because you're on this call tonight, but I'm just learning about the community tab. So if you come to my homepage of my channel, you could see it says community. So it says home, videos, playlist, community. And that's where I'm learning now to post some stuff. So today I posted a few things in there. And that's also a way that you guys can leave me messages. So that's more of an area that people are already subscribing can see stuff. Let's see. Next slide. Here's something else. I know I get a few emails and people, like I remember Siobhan said to me once, I don't know how, like I don't get the alerts. So I used my friend Dr., because I can't alert myself on my own channel. It won't show up. So this is a chiropractor I really have come to like, and we've been DMing on Instagram quite a bit, and we've become pen pals. He's got this amazing occipital lift. Oh, by the way, this is Vietnam behind me. Look at that. Vietnam. But do you notice by the subscribed button, there's a little bell. So if you're on my side and you wish to do that, you would click the little bell. So you would subscribe and click the bell, and it would look kind of like this. Let me unlock this, where you would get a notice. And you could also check the community section. But that's just for a few people that had questions. I know most of you are much better at this than I am. A lot of people don't know that I have another YouTube channel. And this one is more health tips and little ideas. Like, look at this one here. It says skin tags. I have 9 million views. I put up that post 7 years ago, and it's how to use apple cider vinegar to get rid of those little skin tags you get. And that site's been around since I think 2012. Mostly the videos are about a minute and a half long, but I'm trying to relaunch that channel now. And for example, I posted a longer one, a 17-minute video yesterday on can you get COVID-19 twice? And that was a question I looked up, and then I thought maybe I'd make a video on it, because if you do get it and you recover, could you get it again, let's say in September or even 2 years from now? And so there's research on that, and I try to make a fun or easy to handle way of explaining that. And that would be on the Health Hacker one. And since this is not the Health Hacker, we're not going to spend time there, but I'm giving myself a plug. I hope you don't mind. So this, I forget what this is. I think this is the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles, up on the hill. Yeah, so that's what that is. Max says, beautiful view. I can't wait to travel when all this is over. Do you work on TMJ? Yeah, Alan, I have a video that's going wild right now on TMJ. So if you go to my House of Chiro homepage and click on videos, you'll see me setting up on a young woman on her jaw. And I do a lot of TMJ stuff, so you could find that there. Alan says nail clippers for skin tags. Yeah, I guess that is a method. Simon is here. Hi, Simon. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so let's see. Brandon Ortiz says you have an awesome occipital lift. When this pandemic's over, I want to make an appointment. That'd be great to have you come in. Oh, thanks, Jill. Jill liked my little video. Okay, so who wants to see the sneak peek? So this sneak peek, let me remind you if you just tuned in. So the sneak peek is a 12 or 10-minute compilation of those, you know, adjustment after adjustment. I have an editor friend that has the YouTube channel called Chiro Core, and he'll take some of my videos and we'll both get to use it. He posts it, but he sends me a version for me so that I can post it. And we've done that 5 or 6 times. So if you look under my playlist, you'll see compilations. Most of those long compilations are done by Jake. So that's really nice. And he sent me one. I just downloaded it today, but I probably won't put it up for a day or two. But here's a minute of it. And I'm going to be quiet, and it's only 1 minute long, but you'll get to see this. Hopefully you won't hear the echo this time, because I worked on that.
Oh my gosh. Oh. 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 Oh.
Wow. Got it.
Oh.
Got it. Wow. There you go. Okay, that was the sneak peek. Were you able to, can people give me feedback whether you're able to hear it with this software that I'm using? And also, did you hear an echo this time? Because last week when I showed a video clip, it was creating an echo because I didn't know how to mute my microphone out. Jake posts Dr. Ian Rosberg. Yeah, Simon, those Dr. Ian videos are amazing. I heard he doesn't post anymore. I think something happened to his licensing or something where he got warned not to post. That's what I heard. Actually, Chiro Core is the one that posts a lot of Dr. Ian stuff. Yeah, so Dr. Ian, I have so much respect. His technique and expertise is the best. Good, so Vegas said it looked good, sounded good, could hear, no echo. Okay, so I worked on that. Getting better. All right, so here's a little info, okay? Some quick facts. Pain is not your first symptom, especially with musculoskeletal stuff. So someone goes, oh my God, my neck is out. I feel pain in my neck. And usually it didn't just happen. Now, when it does just happen, it's because most often it's trauma, right? If you fell down on the ice and you got an immediate pain in your neck or your back from the point of where you impact, or just from your body whipping, we know exactly when you hurt your neck or your back. You heard it at exactly 3 p.m. when your body hit the ice. That's very easy. Most of my patients that come in don't come in because they hurt themselves in an exact moment of time. They come in and they say, you know, my neck always hurts, or my neck has been hurting for 3 months, or my lower back has been achy, or I was lifting weights and I felt something. But what I'm trying to say is that if you look back earlier, you would start to see an underlying weakness. You would start to see postural. Weaknesses, bad habits, a lot of wear and tear, repetitive motion, and then eventually something happens. And that old saying, the straw that broke the camel's back, I like that saying, but we never really think of that saying, like really think it through. It's so simple that you almost miss it. So in the straw that breaks the camel's back saying that I like is you put 1 straw on a camel's back, nothing happens. 2 straws, nothing happens. But there's a number, and it might be 1 million straws, I don't know the number, but where the camel's back will break. And when you think about that, that could be as high as 10 stories of a 10-story building of straws, one by one, little blades of straw, till the camel's back can't take it anymore and it breaks. And that's really how most of us are getting aches and pains. And each straw represents whatever we want to make it. 10 minutes at the computer, leaning down, texting with the head down all day long, sleeping and reading and eating and watching TV in compromising positions for our posture. And that's a lot of what the lesson today is going to be about is that's what we're facing. We're facing this tech neck. We're facing weakness. People will do sports or work out 3-4 days a week for, an hour. But how many waking hours do we have? Let's say it's got to be about 120, someone do the math for me, 120, 130 hours a week that you're awake. So even if you're working out 1 hour a day, 6 days a week, that's 6 hours a day of exercise can't unravel what we're doing to our bodies with wear and tear and all this stress that we do. So there are certain, the first symptom, when we feel that symptom, it's usually finally that tip of the iceberg is breaking the surface of the ocean. But under the surface is this mountain that leads up to that peak that pushes through. And the pushing through is the first awareness that you're in pain, that you have a symptom. Here's something interesting. Your chiropractor doesn't heal you. So people want me to heal their back. And I'd love to say that I do. Maybe I do sometimes. But that would be a big ego if I said I did. So what heals your body? What heals your body is your body heals your body. We have an immune system. We have, our body has an innate intelligence that wants to heal your body. And that same intelligence took you from 2 cells at the moment of conception to trillions and trillions of cells that formed your body 9 months later when you were born. And we still have that intelligence that governs and runs your body today. And that intelligence needs good food, it needs rest, it needs exercise, it needs some luck. There's a genetic code that runs that. But when a chiropractor, the best that we could do is to remove nerve interference and stress. And if we did, and we did that well, the body can start to communicate with itself better and start to activate repair and healing, circulation, bringing oxygenated blood to the area, bringing nutrition to the area, and start to heal it up. So that's what we're looking. I will get to questions in just a second, but I'm just going to do this little segment, then I'll do some questions. and then I'll go back and do another segment. A lot of people are worried, like, especially you just saw some dramatic adjustments. And remember, in my office, when I'm videotaping, we have a microphone right there. But when we're not videotaping, I can hear the sounds, you can hear the sounds. They're pretty loud. Someone maybe 4 or 5 feet away might hear the sounds. But when we don't have a microphone, you won't hear it as much. And the adjustments, I would say 99% of the time don't hurt. Now, if someone is already in pain, so they come in and they're like wincing in pain, just me laying my fingertip on their skin is making them wince with pain. So I have to kind of see if I can even give them an adjustment that day, if they'll let me get in enough to and release it. And usually they feel such a sense of relief. But some of the pain from the adjustment might be that they're already in pain. But the actual adjustment, the thrust, is usually not painful. Now, someone might be a little sore the next day. That happens. But I think almost any body work is that way. Like if you went and worked with your personal trainer or physical therapist and you started doing, deltoid exercises today, the next day you'd be sore and you'd say, wow, I feel that muscle soreness from working out. So that can happen with chiropractic. But for the most part, it's a fun profession for me to do because, I rarely give people pain. Here's something interesting. Chiropractic began in 1895 in Davenport, Iowa. The inventor was this guy named Daniel David Palmer, and he believed that spinal adjustments would have a positive ripple effect, helping heal many other parts of the body. So in its original conception, it wasn't just cracking the neck to relieve neck pain or cracking the lower back to get the lower back out of pain. It was that, because people do come in pain, but also that if you relieve stress on the body, if you open up the flow and the de-stress the body, then a lot of parts of your body will just perform and work better. Your immune system works better, your sinuses drain, you sleep better, you digest food better, you go to the bathroom better. I've worked on people over the years where sometimes I do see some of these systemic changes. I see people with consistent adjustments be able to control their blood sugar better. Not perfect, they still have diabetes, but they don't need as much insulin. I've seen people that are on chronic allergy medications need less and sometimes be able to go off of it. Asthma medication, need less, sometimes be able to go off of it. Sometimes it doesn't work because sometimes there's other things, or it might be just too severe of a case for the chiropractic to make a difference. I work a lot with headaches. I work a lot with vertigo. I work a lot with menstrual cycles, PMS. So it's fun to see all the different areas of the body that do respond. The name chiropractic is Greek, and it means done by hand. Did anybody ever see My Big Fat Greek Wedding? It's a movie that I just love. And the father in that says, every word has a Greek derivative. And so I wish he would have highlighted chiropractic, because he would tell you any word. He goes, give me a word, and he'll tell you how it's connected. It was a funny bit in that movie. But Chiro is hand, and practic is practice by hand. And so back to Q&A. Let me see what people are asking, okay? This was a shot that I took behind me in Chinatown. And above that is the Manhattan Bridge, which connects Brooklyn to Manhattan, and specifically Chinatown. So let's see. Brandon says he sleeps better. I'm thinking he means if he gets adjusted. A lot of people do feel that their sleep is more relaxed and deeper. That's something people notice almost immediately. Let's see. Chronic fatigue. Can I fix it with Chiro? Maxime Fabio said, can you fix chronic fatigue with chiropractic? Is more of a piece of a healthy wellness lifestyle. So if you came to me and you said I have chronic fatigue, I'd probably want to ask you a whole bunch of questions. I want to know what you're eating, if you're exercising, if there's an underlying autoimmune disorder. Are you on medications? How old are you? What is your history of illness? What's your family history of illness? A lot to do. But I think chiropractic can be done two ways. Some people come in just for pain. They have low back pain, neck pain, mid back pain. They do 3 to 4, 6 adjustments, and I can fix that 80% of the time. Then there's other people that go, well, I really like the way I feel when I'm being adjusted. They might come in twice a month or once a month as part of their wellness lifestyle. In addition to that, I think people should stretch. I think people should exercise. I think they should make healthy eating habits. And along with that, I've seen chronic fatigue start to improve over time. Chronic fatigue, I know a lot about. It would take a whole hour to talk about it. So Maxime's from Stockholm. Jag pratar lite svenska. That's all I know. So Sean said, I had C5, C6 disc replaced about 3 years ago. Is it safe for me to do the Y strap? Sean, I wouldn't do the Y strap if it was my C5, C6. First of all, it's a scary surgery. They either put an artificial disc in there or they fused it or they did something. The Y strap puts a lot of force through the neck, and you can't direct the Y strap to the exact spot you want. Like when I put the Y strap on someone, I can't say, and I'm only gonna adjust C5, C6 right now, or I'm gonna skip C5, C6, and I'm gonna only get T1, T2 down at the base of the neck. You can't direct that. And that's one of the knocks on the Y strap. For me personally, I don't adjust every single patient with the Y strap. It makes a great video, so every time I put it on video, I'm gonna show it to you because they're exciting. But if I saw 20 people on a busy day or 30 people on a busy day, I might only do 1 or 2 Y straps that whole day because I want the person to be young. I don't want them to have degenerative joint or degenerative disc disease. I'm concerned. In your case, you had surgery. I don't know. I wouldn't do it. Maybe if Dr. Cipriano was here, Dr. Gregory Johnson, who does the big ring dinger, they might say they do that all the time. I'm not sure. I really respect those guys and I like them a lot. I don't think I would. I would not feel comfortable with that because above everything else, I would never want to hurt you. That would be horrible, right? If you came in and we were trying to help you and we made your neck worse, or if we ruined your surgery, $25,000, $40,000, $50,000 surgery, we destabilized it with the Y strap. So what I do is if someone had a C5, C6, or C4, C5 surgery, and their neck was in pain, I'd go above it or below it. But I'd go in specifically with my hand or even the activator, the tapping instrument that people make fun of because they think it doesn't do anything. And I would tap one segment at a time. Or I'd get in specifically with my hand, be real careful, and just get like C2 above it. If you get C1 and C2 and set them really nice, it'll relax the whole neck. So sometimes specificity is much more important than a global big pop. Let's see what else people are writing. Gunther, how would you describe the difference with osteopathy and chiropractors? Greeting from Austria. Thank you for saying hello, Gunther. A lot of people think osteopathy and chiropractic are very similar. I think they're very similar the way that the European osteopaths practice and the American chiropractors. The American osteopaths are doing very little manipulation these days. So every osteopath that practices and went to school in the United States is now absorbed at the Medical Association, and they are diagnosticians. They go on and do surgery. They go on and become neurologists. They do all sorts of things. But one thing that they do very little bit, and they become great family doctors and pediatricians, but one thing they do very little of is manipulation. Now, osteopathy was invented by a guy named Andrew Stills, S-T-I-L-L-S, and in 1968, in the United States, osteopathy was absorbed into the American Medical Association. And at that point, osteopaths got full medical rights and jurisdiction, so they can practice in hospitals. And if they go on and do residencies or internships or fellowships, they can work all the way up to brain surgeons if they want. Now, in Europe, osteopathy is still very similar to chiropractors. I have a osteopathic friend from Paris that comes to New York twice a year to see his son that lives here. And we trade treatments. And our treatments are very similar. We do a lot of deep tissue, we do some adjusting, and we've become good friends. A lot of my clients that come to see me or patients that come to see me that are from Europe, say that I remind them of their osteopath in Europe, especially the way I practice, because I don't always do just cracking, but I do a lot of like deep elbows, deep soft tissue, deep stretching that osteopaths in Europe do. So I think that might answer that question. So Sean says he has an artificial disc. I'm just looking back through. His sibling is someone, the real father of the Big Fat Greek Wedding passed away last week. Oh, that's so sad. I really love that movie. Had a lot of fun. Okay, so I have a few more. Slides. Some stuff I'm really interested in. The way that I look at the body when people come in and what I see as far as chronic problems, and some of the things that I find most interesting in my profession and how I can make a difference. So this is called the posterior chain, and it's all the muscles from the skull down to your heels. And this has a lot to do with how I make a living. Because when these muscles are weak, or there's trigger points or muscle spasms, they pull unequally, they pull on the bones, they pull on the skeletons. Once you pull the skeleton out of position, it's going to compromise the nerves that are coming out the spinal cord through those bony segments, through those openings, those foramina, and wherever those nerves go will be interfered with. Here's another picture. So you could see how this fabric, this posterior sheath, this muscle going from the skull all the way down are some of the most powerful movers in the body. Now the front of the body is what we work on in the gym so much because we can see it in the mirror, the pecs, the biceps, the front of the shoulders, the abs. But to be honest with you, they're not as important for the human body as the back of the muscles. And think about it, the front of the muscles, the front side of the muscle, protects us from having a lion eat our bellies, but our back is where all the labor comes from. It's what moves heavy objects. It's how we lift someone up and carry them. It's how we climb up a mountain or a tree. And that posterior chain is so important to how we feel, either with chronically feeling well or perpetually feeling well or feeling chronic aches and pains. And so one of the things that I really like to tell people is you want to stretch the anterior side a lot more than you're doing. And you want to strengthen the posterior side a lot more than you're doing. So even if you're like an elite level athlete, I still say to you, are you stretching the front of your body as much as you can? And I'm going to show you those stretches on a few slides later. The hips, the chest, the shoulders, front side of the body needs to be more flexible. The back side of the body needs to be wicked strong. And if you work on that your whole life, even when you're 95 years old, you're going to feel better and live longer. And that's my biggest fear, is not necessarily how long I live, but I want to feel as well as I can for as long as I live. Because I don't want to be in chronic pain, and I have been in chronic pain. In 2017, I herniated 4 discs in my neck, which knocked out my left arm, almost 40-50%. I was in pain for almost 6 months, horrible pain. And I understand when people go, I don't understand how someone could commit suicide from chronic pain, then you probably never had chronic pain. Because I have a lot of empathy for people that are distraught with chronic pain, because I've been there. But what am I doing these days? Stretching the front of the body and strengthening the back of the body. And there's more to it than that, but if I could boil it down to that philosophy, then it makes you think a lot. When you're at the gym, you're like, what would be those exercises? Or when you're stretching, are you stretching the front of your body? So let's look at a couple of slides. Let me just see if anybody, well, thank you, Maxime. He says thank you. So let's go. This is something I do a lot of. I have, you can't see it, but I have a big chinning bar. It's not like this, but it's a chinning bar that I just constantly am hanging from. I go over to it 4 or 5 times a day and just hang from it. Sometimes with one arm, sometimes with 1 arm, sometimes with 2. I turn my, let's see, get me in there. I turn my hand this way, I swing around. Notice his feet are on the floor. So I don't do it as a chin up. I do it just to stretch my whole shoulder and back out. I also have these straps, and I do different rubber straps and turn and turn. Look at this view behind me. It's, let's see, the bridge in the far part of the background is the Brooklyn Bridge, and this one is the Manhattan Bridge. And this is along the waterway, and people are doing little exercises with social distancing. But this was taken about 3 weeks ago. I don't think people are even doing that now. And again, I'm not doing it as a chin up, although by all means do your chin ups. I'm doing it to stretch. And I also do a lot of band stuff where I take these type of TheraBands or rubber bands. But you could also do weights at the gym, all this stuff. But notice she's working her posterior chain. I just want to show you how simple it could be. You could do it in a wheelchair. So I have people, actually I had this great YouTube comment exchange with this woman that's been in chronic pain. She has multiple broken bones. She's in a state of chronic suffering. But I'm willing to bet she could do something. And if you don't do the one thing that you can do, then that's a loss. So you could sit in a wheelchair and do something. One of the things I recommended to her was Qigong. So Qigong is one of the most gentle ways to work on moving the body, moving the flow, exercising your body if you can't do anything else. Now Qigong you could do if you're an expert martial artist or an elite level athlete, but this guy sitting in the wheelchair could do Qigong. So because Qigong you can just start to move your body and do what it wants to do. And there's a lot of videos on YouTube on Qigong. So I'm just saying, all different levels. On a scale of 1 to 1,000, can you enter at a 3, at a 7, at a 700? Where can you be on that continuum of things you could do to improve yourself? So something I do all day long, doorway stretches. What does it do? It opens up the pec minor, the pec, the shoulder. You really have to lunge through that doorway, and that helps your neck. So by stretching the front of your body, your head is allowed to come back, and it fixes that posture, the tech neck, and you'll have less pain in your neck and upper shoulders if you do this stretch constantly. Now, there's a lot of different ways you could do this stretch. You could do it in a doorway. You could just put your hand on the wall, but push your body through and get that stretch going. Notice that this guy in the picture has his hand here at parallel. Then here it goes up a little bit. It's mirror image, so it's hard for me to do this. Up a little bit, and then his hand is low. And you could just type into YouTube, doorway stretches. So this is what we're fighting. I'm telling you, this guy over here is in pain. What do you think hurts? Come on. Be your own chiropractor. Be your own postural analysis. Be your own posture expert. His neck's going to hurt. Look, his head's forward. Do you see the hole in the ear, which is called the external auditory meatus, EAM? That needs to be over, let's see. I can't do this. It's all backwards. That's your shoulder, right? Like the Tin Man in the Wizard of Oz. That's where the bolt goes. The ear, let's see. The ear needs to be in line with the shoulder, which is, and this one, look at this. We put a line down here, and his ear hole is over his shoulder. It's over his hip, and it hits the front of the knee. That's okay. Can you do that at 80? Can you have that posture at 80? Well, one thing's for sure is you can't have that posture at 80 if you start when you're 77. You have to work on it your whole life. So this guy, to prevent him from becoming the stooped shoulder guy, has to constantly stretch that doorway stretch and the hip flexor stretch, which I'll show you in a minute. There's two reasons there's loss of height. One is that where posture just falls apart. But the other reason is that our discs actually shrink. So if you have 23 bones in the back, and if you take out every disc and stacked it up, you might have 6 or 7 inches of just disc. Now, they lose 40% of their height due to dehydration over the years, over the decades, as we get 60, 70, 80 years old. And that can lose up to 1 to 2 inches. An inch is 2.5 centimeters. We're looking 5 to 7 centimeters potentially that you could lose over the course of your life just from disc dehydration. But you also don't want to lose it from posture. So this is the fight. I'm telling you it's the fight because I used to bench press a lot. I used to squat a lot. I used to deadlift a lot. I did CrossFit for 4 years, every day for 4 years. But before that, before I even knew what CrossFit was, I was always into deadlifting and squatting. And I wasn't, a competitive power lifter, but I liked to move a lot of weight. And guess what? Nobody cares. And who cares what you bench press or what you squat or you deadlift when you're 70? I guarantee you, if I get to interview when you're 70, you would rather be this guy on the left than this guy on the right, and you won't tell me how much you bench press. Because if you're this guy on the right, you're in chronic pain every single day of your life, and you want to kill yourself. And if you're this guy on the left, you're pretty damn proud of yourself because you're like, I started doing yoga when I was like 40, and I started stretching every day, and I started opening up the anterior part of your body and strengthening the posterior part of your body. And when you're 70, 80, 90 years old, you're going to feel better than any of your friends. So let's go to the next slide. That's the guy. I don't want to be that guy. I might be that guy, like all of our families look like that, but I'm fighting that. That's what I want to fight. I do not want to be that guy. And you got to think ahead. Another nice backdrop. Let me look at what everybody's saying. Am I going too crazy? Am I preaching too much? I have a few more slides because I have the front of the hips next. So let's see. Gunter said that hanging is literally breathtaking. I don't know if he means the hanging and the stretching or something else. Let's see. Working on my posture. Need these tips. Thanks, Jade. Jade just signed in a little bit. I don't know who the pink lady wearing the pink clothes. Berto Block. Hi, Berto. So Berto Block goes, in chiropractic school, do you use people to practice on? We used to, when I was in chiropractic school, I graduated in June of 1998. So I was there basically for 4 years, from like 1994 to 1998. I went to chiropractic school in Atlanta, Georgia. And we used to call it sparring with each other because it hurt. So you would get a friend that was in school with you and say, can I adjust your neck today? And they go, yeah, only if I could adjust your neck. And they might be horrible. I was pretty good when I got to chiropractic school because I was already a massage therapist for 5 years. So I already had a really good sense of touch, and it was used to like moving people's bodies around. Think about it. Like if you're doing 20, 30, 1-hour massages a week for 5 years, then I'm looking more at the muscles and moving those muscles, but I know where the bones are. I can close my eyes after 5 years of massage and know exactly where I am on the human body without having to look at a diagram. But when you start working with someone in chiropractic school and you have a student that you're teamed up with, and they've never touched the body, they might have been an accountant or an office worker, and they line up on you, you already feel the moment they touch you that they're a rookie, that they don't know what they're doing, and they're about to crack your neck. And inside that neck is your spinal cord, and it's scary. And we would be sore all the time. And then by the end of the day, we'd look for one of the chiropractors on campus, one of the professors, and say, oh my God, I got adjusted like 6 times today. Can you adjust me and kind of fix all the broken parts? So we did that a lot. It was a horrible time to feel well. And so I have, let's see, Maxime says, how has it impacted my life? How has what impacted my life? Maybe I should go back and, let's see. Does massage help in adjustment? Yeah, we have 2 great massage therapists on staff, and I'm a big fan of massage. Before I hired them, and when I hurt my neck in 2017, I did all the deep tissue on every single patient. So on a busy week, I'd see 100 patients, 120 patients. If you think about it, if I just did 5 to 10 minutes on every single patient for 120 patients a week, it adds up. I was doing basically what's equivalent to 30 hours of massage a week, and with the chiropractic, without any help, doing it all by myself in a little boutique office, and eventually just blew out my neck. But here, let's go to the last little educational section, if you don't mind. I hope you guys get something from this, because I didn't want it just to be me, I don't know. I wanted to, I like this subject, so I'm just sharing some stuff. So here's the other big piece. So remember, this whole section today is that we could always do more on the front of our bodies, anterior side of our body, as far as flexibility. And we could always do more on the posterior side of our body, strengthening. And again, I want to shed a little more light on that. Does that mean we shouldn't strengthen the front? No, you're going to do it anyway. Think about it. You always do abs, you always do chest, you always do bicep, you always do quads. Those are the things we can think about. Those are the pretty muscles. But they're not the muscles that move the human body through the dawn of time to the end of your life. They don't athletically create the human specimen like the posterior chain. And the posterior chain is not strong enough for 99% of us. There are exceptions, but even if you were like winner of the CrossFit Games, or even if you were an Olympic level athlete, or even if you were Michael Phelps, who won how many gold medals, him and his coach would still say, got to get that stronger. Got to get my back and my wings and my lats and my butt and all those muscles stronger. And keep being flexible in the front. So let's talk about the front. Look at this big, tall blue muscle. I don't know if you can see my cursor. That's the psoas. And the psoas literally attaches to the front of the lumbars. So if that muscle shortens or goes into spasm, it will literally yank your lumbars out of position, your lower back. So we need to strengthen the lower back and stretch the front. The front is the psoas, it's the hip flexor. So this hip flexor comes down from the vertebrae, but the anterior part of the vertebrae, the front part of the bones, and anchors into the inside part of your leg bone, of your thigh bone. So that when it contracts, it brings your hip up to your body. It's a hip flexor. It sandwiches your body. It brings your trunk to your thighs, like a sit-up, right? Or jumping up in the air and hugging your knees. This other muscle is the iliacus. It does similar stuff. But we're not going to make an anatomy course on this tonight. But I want to tell you that this muscle could be stretched every single day, the psoas muscle. And if you did, or at least stretch it throughout your entire life, even when you're 95 years old, you're going to thank me. I probably won't be alive then because most of you are younger than me, but thank me anyway. Look, psoas stretch. Here's another good one, the pigeon stretch. So if you're not watching this on your phone, if you're watching on your laptop, take a picture of this, or if not, take a screenshot with your phone, and you can go into YouTube and look up psoas stretch or pigeon stretch, and we should do a lot of those. The pigeon stretch gets the outside part of your butt, and the psoas stretch is the muscle that I just showed you up here. But there's more. This is the basic psoas stretch. Pretty much anybody can do this. If it hurts your knee in this position, put a towel under it, or a little cushion, a little pillow. You could also hover this knee in the air. So there's a lot of ways to do this stretch. But this is basic. I personally like to lift the arm because I feel like it stretches that whole anterior side of the body. I'm telling you, if you only gave me 2 stretches that I could ever give to a patient for the rest of my life, and I'm only allowed to give 2. Now, when I stretch every day. But when I stretch for a half an hour to an hour. I do everything. But if I was only allowed to do 2 stretches, I would do the doorway stretch, which I showed earlier, and I would do this stretch. And if I had someone comes to me with chronic pain, which is everybody that comes into my office, I give them these 2 stretches. Everything else is gravy. Do these 2 stretches. So this is what happens. People come in with lower back pain. But do you see this psoas muscle on the front, on the left picture, where you see the green lightning bolts hitting the lower back? Then you see this long red muscle. And you see how it wraps around and touches the thigh bone? That goes into contraction when your back hurts. Sometimes it's the back hurts, sends the psoas into contraction. Sometimes the psoas is chronically tight, which pulls the bones out of place, which pinches the nerve, which makes your back go into contraction, your lower back. It doesn't really matter which end. You know, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Who cares? You could think about it all day long or just work on it. Work on the muscle of the lower back. Get your back adjusted. Work on stretching. Strengthening. Strengthen your lower back. Stretch the front of your body. And here's another picture on the right. The picture on the right is the psoas major. Let's go to another picture. So here it is again. I love this guy. So here's the skeleton. Look at the guy on the right. He's in the psoas stretch. And you could see how they're connected to the front of the lumbars. And I'm going to go back to Q&A in 1 second, so just hang in there. And there's two parts of that muscle. There's the major branch and the minor branch. But notice that it attaches to the front of the bones of the vertebra, and it goes all the way down to the inner little part of the leg, and that little notch there, that little knobby spot is called the lesser trochanter. Back in Vietnam here, the backdrop. I'm out of slides. Oh, maybe I have 1 or 2 more. Oh, I like this one. Haha, I do have more. Okay. This gets the whole posterior chain. Do you remember here? Let me go back to that slide and see if I can find it. Okay, look. Do you see all the blue? That's the posterior chain. So if you could do this, you would be getting the posterior chain. Now there's variations of everything. You could do it with weights, you could do it with bands, you could do it a million different ways, but this is as basic as you can get. You could just lay on your floor and you make a banana. Superman banana, that's a banana, right? Look, contralateral. Look how strong that guy is. Who's doing contralateral? I don't do contralateral. I used to. I don't know. Contralateral's good. So contralateral means using left arm and right arm and left leg. Left arm and right leg. And it helps the spiral trunk. It's awesome. But I just haven't done that in a while. And again, I'm bringing this slide up again. Notice I'm in a castle in my background. I think that's pretty cool. But this is where we're fighting. We don't want to be that. My daughter took this picture. My daughter Lily's 24. She just had her birthday, let's see, 11 days ago. And that's my Instagram name. If you guys come on Instagram, I have a lively Instagram. I post 7 days a week on Instagram. Once in a while I miss a day, but not too often. And please subscribe on or follow on Instagram if you'd like. But that's my slides for the educational part. And I wanted to see if people have some other comments. Hi, Beryl. Isn't the human body wonderful, so complex? Oh, look, I can put her thing up. So Beryl said, we all sit down too much and we need to move. See, I'm still learning this software. Thank you, Beryl. And then let's do something from Vega. Vega said she likes the Vietnam background. Yes, the Vietnam background is pretty good. Let me go to the Vietnam background, if I can find it. It's so hard to see. Oh, here, I could just plop it right in right now. Watch this. Vietnam background. Boom. I don't even know who that person is. Let's get rid of that one. Simon, contralateral. Yeah, so that's the contralateral movement, which we did in that picture. Oh, look at this. So, Abderazak said this can help L4, L5. Yeah, I mean, you want to strengthen. Remember, my whole theme today was strengthen the posterior chain, stretch the anterior. And that would be wonderful for us, right? It's just something, you know, it's just a concept that I don't care who you put in front of me. You put in Michael Phelps, the greatest Olympic medalist. I think maybe there's someone better. I don't know. But he's iconic for just saying, you know, amazing Olympic athlete, Michael Phelps. But Michael Phelps, I could look him straight in the eye and go, dude, strengthen your back, stretch your front. And he'd say, I got you. I'm already doing that. but it would make sense to him. I could take someone that's in chronic pain and they're not athletic, and if I strengthen their lower back and their posterior chain and even their neck, getting their neck to come back, everything strengthened, bringing everything back into extension and strengthen that, even if they're in a wheelchair, and I get them to stretch the front of their body. Maybe they can't do the psoas stretch, which is that hip flexor, but they can stretch their arms back while they're in the wheelchair. They will feel better. And if they can stretch their neck back and start working on bringing the body back in that direction and flexibility. Maxime called it Superman. Yeah, so this position is often called Superman. Banana, Superman, I love all the names. They're all good. Let's see. Gunter. Thank you, Gunter. Let's see what Gunter has to say. Oh, look at this. I'm figuring this out. So, Gunter, the hip flexor stretch pics looked wrong to me because of the forward tilted hip. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I couldn't find the perfect one, and I was running out of time. So, I really dig out that hip, Gunter. When I do it, even though I'm in my 50s, I'm pretty flexible in that position because I literally do this stretch every day. There's a lot to be done. Like this one, I'd like to see her. Well, first of all, her knee is over her toe. Like I said, I just wanted to show you the concept of it, but I'm not disagreeing with you, Gunter. These aren't perfect specimens of models. I just found something quick to the screenshot. I dragged it in. But, it's like anything else, like yoga, martial arts. You could constantly refine your technique throughout your whole life. The greatest martial artists and the greatest yoga teachers are still students. And if they're not, they're full of shit, right? They're like, oh, I learned everything and now I'm a master and I don't learn. Well, then you're not my master, because it's a constant tuning in and figuring it out. And so I'm constantly trying to, when I'm in those positions, I'm constantly trying to feel that stretch. But I think all of us, if you're going to start something new, you just start anywhere. You start with the textbook idea of it. And then over time, it evolves to where you can really feel. I had a teacher once call it put the mind in the muscle, where you can really start to visualize what's happening anatomically as you're stretching or working out or lifting weights. I have a friend who's an amazing bodybuilder, Gennaro Farah, and he's in his 50s and has the most amazing physique. But he literally visualizes every muscle as he works out, and he's not. When he works out, he doesn't work out the same as he did when he was in his 20s when he was Mr. Australia. Now he even has a better physique, I think, than he did when he was in 20s. It's more sculpted, but he can literally feel every little sinew of every muscle and every tendon. That's what he's trying to visualize, and he puts that much focus into it. And so it's a constant evolution. Well, I might as well put this one up because she gave me a compliment. You look really good for 50. That's good. You're giving me a compliment. We'll just leave that one up there. I'll just move it up here so we can all read that over and over again. No, thank you very much. I like compliments. Let's see, because I have a fragile male ego. That's why I like compliments. Let's see. I'm not 50. I'm 56. My birthday was March 26, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And that's my age. Any other questions, or maybe we should wrap it up? We've been on for 59 minutes. My goal was 60. I thought it'd be about right. Thank you for tuning in today. Let me put on my last slide. My last slide is from Vega, help me, but I think it's Hampton Park in East Sussex. Hampton. I'm sure I spelled this wrong, but if you put it in, Vega, I'll drag it across the screen. It's very pretty. Maxime says 56, awesome. Happy late birthday. Thank you, eGirl HQ. When's your birthday, Simon? Vega, are you still there, Vega? Where is this park? Is it Hampton Park? Anyway, so this is what I'm trying to do. Let me look. I put it on my whiteboard over here. I'm going to try to do live calls on Monday. Sunday night is a live premiere where I put the video up and we watch it together. I don't know if you guys have done that before. Friday night, I'm going to try to post videos. So I'm going to try to post 3 videos a week and 1 live a week. Then on my other channel, I'm going to try to do 2 videos a week. Oh, I spelled it right. So let me see. All right, so there we go. So, and I think that's in East Sussex, UK. Is East Sussex right? Did I mess that up? Just laugh at me if I did. July 24th. Well, happy birthday on July 24th. So, Gunter, thank you for clarifying. You know, I would love to, you know, do a video and just show, you know, find someone with perfect technique. But the main thing is just to be on the journey. I mean, who cares? Since I damaged my shoulder and my neck and my discs, my form isn't as good as it used to be. But I keep visualizing how I want it to be, and I keep yearning and trying to get there. And so I think I know it sounds so cliche, but the journey is so much more important than just like having it. Like if you just had the perfect form today in your psoas stretch, I would still ask you to dig deeper. I have these ballerinas that come in because I've been working with American Ballet Theater, so I have these top premier ballerinas that have been coming in for 20 years. And they're the most flexible people you've ever seen. And I also have been taking care of the Rockettes, the New York City Rockettes, for 20 years. And they're amazing too. They're a different type of dancer than the ballerinas, but they're amazing athletes and they're so flexible and they train all the time. Imagine training 6 to 8 hours a day since you're 5 years old, 6 days a week. They don't even have an off season. So if you're a rugby player, a football player, a tennis player, almost every athlete takes a month or 2 off or 4 months off, but not these dancers. And they're constantly trying to get more out of their body, a deeper stretch. They're getting more out of their psoas stretch. They're looking. And so to me, that's very inspirational because it means that there's always more to do and it's fun to learn. So Simon says he's in Chester Street. Maxime, thank you so much for your efforts in sharing this with us. Thank you, Maxime. Arasok says, my channel's awesome. And his sibling says, can a person with severe osteoporosis have adjustments? Yes, but so here's a good question. I know I'm always trying to defend the activator. The activator is that tapping instrument that I use in some of my videos or a lot of my videos. And I usually, some of the most hateful comments I get are like, that's piece of junk, that's phony, it doesn't work. Well, the activator's been around for 35 years. There is no technique that is more researched than the activator. And it works. And not everything is a big crack. There are so many different ways to work on the body. Acupuncture doesn't make a big crack. And acupuncture is phenomenal. If you go to a good acupuncturist, man, they're so good. And they're not cracking the body. So I love cracking the body because I love the drama of it. And I love getting cracked. So I wanted to be a good cracking chiropractor. But over the years, I learned that it's really important to also understand some softer techniques, like techniques that are very subtle. So with this woman that asked me a question, can a person with severe osteoporosis, she said severe, notice she said severe, osteoporosis have adjustments, I would not crack her back. Why would I do that? She has brittle bone disease. If it's not her, it's her sister, but it's probably her. So can I help her? Yes. My mom has loved being cracked for the last 20 years and still does in the mid-back. Loves cracking. Never scared of it. She's, you know, I mean, do the math. I'm not going to say her age because if she's listening, I don't want to make her feel bad. But I do the activator around her neck. And she does have a little cervical stenosis, which means narrowing around the spinal cord. And I don't want to crack her neck. What if I hurt my mom? How bad would that be? And I wouldn't want to hurt this woman. So if she came in, I would try to wow her with the activator. That would be the best. Let's see what else. Vega says, yeah, so thank you, Vega. Vega, you are awesome. Right, so if you watch 30 or 40 of my videos, I'm not saying you should, but if you were interested and you started watching, watch people's reaction to the activator. First of all, they're blown away because I didn't do anything. Like, it's so light, it's so gentle. But I have them constantly test. I go, turn your face to the right, point to the spot that hurts. I tap, 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 turn the face to the right. Now where does it hurt? They go, oh my God, it's gone. I still might crack that person's neck, but I could stop right there. I could just do the activator and walk away. So Brandon says, Rockettes, former co-workers of mine, I miss my old company. Oh, wow. Did you dance in the musical theater part of the performance? So the Rockettes come out, but in between there's all these skits and sketches of musical theater performers, men and women that are in the winter show for the Rockettes. Right, so Simon says that the activator makes a minute adjustment. It does. It's very subtle. It adjusts 1 to 5 millimeters. I had this, I don't have, oh, here it is. So look, haha, that is a dime, 10 cents, right? So let me see. Okay, the weight of a dime on a nerve will reduce its function up to 60%. So an activator moves it and reduces the nerve stress and interference anywhere between 40 and 60%. So we don't have to crack the back. We can subtly move it. And there's a lot of subtle techniques that are amazing. I had a young it happens probably once a month, usually through Instagram. They'll DM me, send me a direct message and say, I'm a chiropractic student, or I'm thinking of going to chiropractic school. I want to be a chiropractic student. And they watch me on Instagram and they ask me a question. What advice would you have for me if I'm going to chiropractic school? The only thing I say, because everything else they'll learn, I mean, what could I tell them? But I say, get really good at a hard technique and really good at a soft technique. And if you're only going to pick one, get really good at the soft technique. Because the soft technique, you can do it 100% of the people that walk in your office. The woman with osteoporosis, I can't crack her neck. The guy with C4, C5 artificial disc, because he had surgery on his neck, I'm not going to put him in a Y strap. I might adjust his mid-back by hand. I might adjust above, below by hand. But I wish I knew a soft technique like the activator. And there are a lot of soft techniques. There's all different type of instruments. There's many techniques, probably 30, 40, 50 techniques that are not cracking, not big, twisting, popping, pushing, slamming, forceful. So that's what I would tell a young chiropractor is get really good at a soft technique. For me, it was activator. And get really good with your hands. Let's see. So here, Kenster. I'm a wrestler like World Wrestling, WWF, WWE, and I have pain in my arm, shoulder, and neck. Is there a way to relieve pain? I also broke my arm when I was younger, so, well, you know, it's a big question because this is still damaged. So we'd want to get an x-ray. We'd want to examine it. I'd physically examine it if you were on my table. I would move it around. I'd dig my fingers in. I'd find the point of pain. I would decide whether I think it's misaligned. I might adjust it. I might dig it out. Did you guys see that video that I put up with frozen shoulder? And the guy has a shirt off and it's like intense screaming is the name of it. So type it in, intense screaming, frozen shoulder, intense screaming. And that video's taken off like crazy. It's getting, I don't know, it's had like 100,000 views in the last month. And it's funny because I posted it 3 months ago or 6 months ago, and now it's finally taking off. But getting back to Kenster was asking what to do about the shoulder. I mean, if you did it wrestling, there's, and by the way, I was a wrestler in high school. I come from a family of wrestlers. My brother is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, a black belt in judo, still competes at the age of 58. And we were all wrestlers growing up. But I didn't continue in college. He just kept going with it. He was a college wrestler as well. So I know a lot about wrestling. I wrestled for about 8 or 9 years. But you'd first have to find out what it is. So, Kenster, you have to find out what the damage is. And once you know what the damage is, then you can make a plan to fix it. It's all fixable, especially if you're young. So let's believe that first. There are some people that have permanent damage, but even that, you can, you know, make such gains if you don't quit. So Vega was saying that frozen shoulder video. Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy video. The guy screams the whole video. He's such a nice guy. He's a really fit dude with big old muscles. And you could tell, like, he's got this shoulder pain. Let's see. Any other questions? I know a lot of people are still on, so I don't want to leave yet. Here's a nice compliment. Your channel is awesome. And let's see. Kenster just subbed and liked. Thank you, Kenster. Let's see. So Gunter said he might like to see some stretching videos. Maybe I'll do it and get one of my dancers to be the model or to be the subject, and I could do the instruction. I guess I'm a little self-conscious because I'm not the flexible athletic dude that I was. So I feel like maybe I wouldn't be a great example of it. But I feel like I have the knowledge, but I don't have the body that would, might be distracting. But let's see. So PS said I had a sternum fracture. So the sternum's right here. So on this part here is the manubrium, then the sternum, then the xiphoid process, and then the ribs come down. So here's the sternum, the ribs come in, and the top of the sternum is called the manubrium. It's a tough fracture. There's a lot of nerves, a lot of junction of nerves there. I would not want to break my sternum. But one of the things you could do is you could begin to stretch it. So you're pulling and stretching, and you get a big broomstick, and you stretch. And you do all these stretches that I showed in the video. If you just came in, watch the video. I'll post it. It'll be up in about an hour. Or I think it goes up immediately. But I talked a lot about opening that body up. So the doorway stretches are great for the sternum. Now, if it's a fresh fracture, you have to just let it heal. But once it's already healed and you have permission to start working on it again, and then it's going to take a long time. Sternums are tough. Yes, so Simon says I'd recommend using a chiropractor. Thank you, Simon. Yeah, I mean, a chiropractor could really help. Your sternum might be very hard to, it might need some alignment. I have this video I put up, and do you notice the woman in the middle? I actually do rib adjustments along her sternum. So she has costal sternal pain, where the cost means rib or cartilage, but where the costa, the rib meets the side of the sternum, I did a series of adjustments on her. And this was the last video I posted. When did I do it? Sunday night? Yesterday. So anyway, that's me working on a sternum. And so Simon's right, a chiropractor could adjust that for you. So Gunter says, yeah, I love foam rollers. I got 2 in my house right now. I got so much stuff I use. I think there's a time for the black one, which is the hardest one. And I think there's a time for a softer one. Let's see. I don't know if we should just wrap this up at this point. Thank you everyone for watching. Maybe I'll just close down here and let's go right back to this last screen. I'll be posting, what's today is, I think I'm putting up a new video on Wednesday, so it's 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I will probably do it as a live premiere, so that'll be in 2 days. And thank you, everyone. And don't forget to leave me a thumbs up and a comment if you can. Okay. Especially on the adjusting ones. Thanks. Good night. Thanks, everyone. Good night, Beryl.